Hey guys, this is Nurse Lavi. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. So today I am going to answer one of the most common questions that I've been asked a lot lately, and this is how to survive online classes, especially during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. Since the COVID-19 pandemic started, more than 300 million students have been forced to go from traditional learning to online learning. So if you feel alone, you're not. If you have never taken online classes before, it is so easy to get overwhelmed. Just thinking about where do I start? How do I find my lecture? Where do I take the test? All those things can bring so much anxiety and stress. I'll give you some tips that may help you as you make this transition from traditional classroom to online learning. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that right now. Otherwise, let's get started. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but my graduate school program is strictly online. All my classes are online. I mean, I take my test online. Even my skills exams are online. So I know a thing or two about how to navigate through online courses and things that you can do to help yourself become successful. Most of these tips I use for myself, and believe me, I learned them the hard way. So I'm trying to save you some of the trouble that I went through, okay? So I have three main points that I would like to cover in this video. Number one is to be proactive and stay ahead of the game. So what do I mean by that? What you need to do is open the software that your school uses for your class and do a walkthrough. Study it. Right? Picture it. Know where everything is. Study the layout. Locate every button. Open it up, click on it, like actively click on it, see what's inside. Where are the assignments icon? Where are the syllabus icon, the quiz icon, lecture icon, and everything that's on the website. You need to open it up one by one and see what's inside. Make yourself familiar with the website. You know, when you go get a new apartment or a new house, and you're trying to find out what the bedroom is, what the bathroom is, what the basement is. That's basically what you're gonna do with the website. So that way you can know when you need things, you would know where to go. And you may not be able to know this on the first day. It may take you like a few days or a few weeks to learn this, but the sooner you start, the better and the easier it is going to be for you. Open up the frequently asked questions section and see what's inside. Most likely what's inside there are questions that most students have, and they have that available for you. So then, whatever is in there might be able to answer your questions, but you have to open it up to know what kind of questions are in there for you to even know if they're helpful. I would say do that before you even start calling your professor or the IT department. So review the syllabus, print it out if it makes it easier for you. Write down all the assignments that are due and when they're due. So that way you're staying on track and you don't get easily lost. So the same thing you will do in class, you want to do it online too. The biggest mistake I made when I first started with online classes, I thought, there was no need for me to review the syllabus and write down all the assignments and the due dates because everything was in front of me. It was on the computer. And no, false. I missed so many assignments. I missed the deadlines. So it is always helpful to, even though you have things in front of you on the computer, it's always helpful to either print it out and highlight it or write those assignments and the due dates in your calendar. Remember the times that you went to class and at the end of the class, your teacher reminded you when the next assignment was due? Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Your teacher is not going to wake up in the morning and start writing a mass email to everybody reminding you when the assignment is due. They expect you to be on top of this, okay? They expect you to know when these assignments are due and turn them in when they're due. So it's just a good practice to write your assignments and due dates somewhere on your calendar or your phone. Make sure you have a quiet place to study, whether it's in an office in your house or apartment, just somewhere quiet in the house. I know if you were like me when I first started, I could not study in the house. It had to be a public place, a library or a coffee shop. That's the only place where I could focus and pay attention. But guess what? That option is not available for us right now. So we need to improvise. So designate a room in your house or an apartment and make it your study place, and make sure when you're studying that no one else is using that area. Studying on the bed with a glass of wine is not going to work. Sitting on the couch with the TV on is probably not going to work. You're just gonna set yourself up for failure. So you need to be disciplined and you need to be organized. When I first started my graduate school program, I had a roommate, and sometimes I didn't have time to make it to the library or a public place to study. So I would literally lock myself in the bathroom and study in there. It was the one place in the house that was quiet and that my roommate wasn't using at the time. So I would lock myself in the bathroom and studied in there. And that's where I paid attention. That's where I was concentrated and focused. So find where that place is for you in the house. For you, that place may be the kitchen or the living room or the bedroom or even the balcony. Whatever that place may be, just make sure it's a place where you can focus and where you can actually pay attention to what you're studying. The second main point that I want to make is to be present. You may not be able to attend lectures in person right now, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to pay attention to the lectures that are posted online. If you are watching pre-recorded lectures, make sure you are taking notes. And the best thing about these pre-recorded lectures, you can rewind them and review them whenever you want. So use that to your advantage. Treat the lectures as if they were live. If a certain topic is due today and you know your professor is going to post the lecture video of that topic today, set some time aside on the same day that it's posted and watch the video. The biggest mistake you want to make is to fall behind on your lectures and end up with 5, 10, 15 videos that you have to watch like 1 week before your exam, and that would not be fun. Believe me, that's the biggest mistake I made when I had first started. I would find myself watching 10, 20 videos, couple weeks or couple days sometimes before the exams, and that's when you get to the time of cramming, and cramming is never fun. And if you have live lectures hosted by a professor, make sure you're treating them as if you were in a classroom. Raise your hand and ask questions. Most of these softwares have, little buttons where you can raise your hand and it will have your name on there. Or some professors have you type the questions and they will review all the questions at the end of the lectures. So just make sure you communicate with your professors on what their preference is. Because some professors don't like to be interrupted when they're giving lecture, and they usually save about 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the lecture for students to ask questions. So make sure if you do have a question while the professor is giving the lecture, that you are writing it down. So that way, when it's time to ask questions, that you have your question down and you didn't forget it. The days of going to your professor's office are over for now. So go to their virtual office hours. Online professors have virtual hours. Make sure you call them ahead of time or email them. Emails are 100 times better. They would respond to your emails. And if they don't respond to your email within 48 hours, then you can call them. But make sure you contact them by email first. Most online courses have discussion boards. Make sure you are using those discussion boards. Those discussion boards are there for students to ask questions, to get their questions answered, and all those things. I cannot tell you how many times I had a question for a professor, and then I went to the discussion boards and found out that another student had the same question and the professor answered my question, or even other students would answer the question that I had, and I didn't have to contact the professor. So make sure you're reviewing the discussion boards or the question and answer boards, whatever it is named at your school. So just make sure you're using that section. If you like study groups and now you are devastated because you cannot have those study groups anymore, well, there's a solution. Set up a virtual meeting place. Most students nowadays create Facebook groups, and these are great because you can invite whoever you want to be in the group, and it can be exclusive, like a closed group. It could be 5 people in there. Facebook doesn't care. It is just so easy to communicate through Facebook than to have to exchange like school emails. Everybody's on social media all the time, so it is much easier to create a Facebook group than to create like an email thread with students' emails and whatnot. So you can have your group meet up that way. You can have Facebook live sessions and stuff like that. And some people have each other's phone numbers, so you can have FaceTime and you can FaceTime each other or Zoom each other. So just, be creative, and whatever works for you, whatever you think is best for you, utilize that. The third and last main point that I want to mention is to be accountable and self-motivated. So let me tell you, online courses are great because they're convenient and you can do them whenever you want. However, they are the easiest way to fail a course or a program. If you don't have self-discipline, don't know how to push yourself, or you're not organized, you are not going to do well with online learning. Not that you have much choice right now, you really have to learn how to hold yourself accountable. The easiest way to stay on track is to keep the same routine that you had when you had traditional classes. For example, if you used to wake up at 6:30 to make it to your 8 o'clock class, do the same thing now. Wake up at 6:30 and pretend that you have class, but this time it's going to be in front of you, in front of a computer. So wake up, take a shower, eat breakfast, and then attend your lecture. If it's pre-recorded, start it. If it's, live, join in. If it's a meetup with your group, do the same thing that you used to do when you were going to a traditional class. Now you even have more time because you don't have to drive or take public transportation to go to class. Now you have more time to start early. So don't slack just because you're not going to class physically. Wake up and get ready as if you were going to class. That's one thing that can help you stay accountable and on track. There is a lot of stress going on, so make sure you are incorporating breaks when you're studying. They say for every hour that you study, you should have a 15 minutes break. So for every hour, you're taking a 15 minutes break to recharge, rejuvenate, and all that good stuff. So do not forget to do that. The only thing is, don't forget, set an alarm. When you take that break, set an alarm for 15 minutes. When that 15 minutes is up, make sure you're coming back to study. The worst thing that you can do is to take a break, go take a nap, and before you know it, 2-3 hours has passed and you're coming back and now you're behind. You don't want to do that. Personally, when I'm studying, I have a daily goal of how many hours that I want to study. For instance, it's usually like 3 hours. So what I will do is I would wake up at a certain time that I want to wake up, and say, from example, 8 a.m. to noon, I will study. So I will try to wake up around that time, be ready at 8 o'clock. And then I will study for an hour, take a 15 minutes break, study for another hour. When my 4 hours is up, when that 12 o'clock comes, I will close my book and I would give myself the freedom to do whatever else I wanted to do that day. So that way I didn't have to feel guilty about not doing my homework. Someone once told me it's easier to do a task that would take 15 minutes than to spend an hour thinking about how you should be doing that task, which makes sense. Do I just want to spend 15 minutes to do something, get it over with, or spend an hour thinking about how I should be doing this thing that I haven't done? And sometimes this can be like a task that takes 1 hour and we spend like 5 hours thinking about how we have this task that we haven't done. Same thing with homework. Do you want to be running errands and watching movies thinking about this homework at the back of your head? That drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. Last but not least, online classes are hard. It takes time to get used to them. They're very overwhelming at first, but they do get easier as time goes by. So don't be too hard on yourself. Do your best. Ask for help. Utilize your resources that you have. Email your professors when you do not understand anything. Your professors are available. There is virtual learning, virtual IT departments, virtual writing centers, and all these other resources that people utilize to get through it. Use other students to ask questions, and don't be shy as if don't think that you're the only person going through this. There are a lot of people who do not like online courses, and all they've ever known is traditional courses. So they're going through this already. So if you have a question, ask your classmates and ask your professors. Most likely there are other students who have the same questions, who are probably embarrassed to ask, and if you ask that question, you may be helping them and at the same time helping yourself. So don't be too hard on yourself. Try to have fun with this. Make it fun. Like I said, create Facebook groups and use YouTube to teach yourself some concepts and formulas that you may not know. Try the best that you can to pass your courses, but do not be too hard on yourself. So just take it easy. Good luck, and comment down below if you have any questions, or inbox me, whichever way you want to communicate with me. Just stay strong. We'll get through this, and things will be well very soon. Once again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that right now. Okay, if you do not follow me on IG, go ahead and follow me. It's at Nurse Lavi, and follow me on Facebook as well. See you guys next time. Mwah.